We want to welcome to the program now Sergeant Steve Linn, who is with the West Precinct here in Davidson County and is the Community Affairs Coordinator. A different role for you because you were a sergeant patrolling for a very long time.
Yes, I was.
And you now shifted into this role.
Yes.
Different because you go out in the community and really educate folks. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it gives the opportunity where most people come in contact with the police when there's been an incident or a situation that's a little stressful. In this position, we go out to talk to neighborhood watch groups, HOAs, civic groups, Kiwanis, you name it, schools, and we try to really go to the schools at a younger age to get get ourselves introduced to them as police officers, as humans, and just tell them, you know, it's a career, it's a great career, and encourage people to get involved. But we can tell them what we do under less stressful situations, like when we've been called, for example, and maybe things aren't as ideal as they should be. And just answer some of their questions and concerns. They see a lot of TV shows, a lot of movies, the way we're portrayed, and we try to tell them fact from fiction and kind of let them know that we're human and we're here to help them and whatever we can do to assist.
All right. Well, we're talking specifically, Sergeant Linn, about kids being out for summer break. They get into all sorts of different activities. Some recreational, some family things. And some maybe they shouldn't be doing. Kids kind of get in a little trouble from time to time. Right. What are the police officers specifically honing in on in the summer months regarding children's safety? What's priority for you?
Well, the main thing we want to look for is there's going to be a lot of idle time on their hands, and hopefully the parents, as summer approaches, have got some pre-planning done and have some constructive activities for them.
Sure.
Camps, daycares, or just plan neighborhood activities. But when they don't, we're going to be in the neighborhoods, and hopefully they're all doing what they're supposed to be doing, and we would be happy to stop and talk to them and assist them any way we can. But at times, strangers know that kids are going to be out of school. There's going to be a lot of them probably wandering the kids, wandering the streets. So the people that are leaning towards maybe trying to take advantage of children, they are aware of this time that's coming up, so they're going to be a little more prevalent. But it can happen, like I said, in the neighborhood, with social media. Kids, most of them all have phones.
Sure.
They're getting attacked from that end. The internet, there's a lot of activity on the internet that parents need to be aware of and to watch, because again, a lot of idle time, they're spending time not maybe in such constructive atmosphere.
Yeah, that's so true.
So parents just need to do a little pre-planning. We'll be happy to come out to any group or any kind of whether it's a neighborhood group or activity that they've got going on, come out and talk to these things, kind of go more in depth. But we encourage them to have a plan, keep them active, and kind of keep them on a constructive path of doing something that's going to be good.
Talking about strangers and just how to approach them and that kind of thing. What do you specifically tell children as far as somebody coming up to you? What are they supposed to do if they seem a little bit fearful?
Well, stranger danger, of course, that's something they hear hopefully a lot in the schools, and they hear from the parents. We encourage the buddy system.
Okay.
When they're going to be out playing, hopefully they're playing in groups.
Great idea.
There's always strength in numbers. But again, as always, just like you hopefully plan with your kids for if there's a fire or an emergency of a storm or disaster, what to do if they are approached. The parents need to have a very candid conversation, age appropriate to whatever the children are, of what to do if they are approached. Where are the parents? Escape route to a safe place. Making themselves, loud, make sure everybody knows where they're at. And again, encourage them to stay with another, buddy, a group, to stay more visible and hopefully draw attention to themselves if someone comes up, because the predators that are out there have a whole set of lures that they will approach children on and try to gain their confidence. And it could be anywhere from a family friend to they're lost, seeking help or assistance. Or posing as a family friend, and again, that goes back to where parents maybe talk to their parents, to the children, about having a code word or a phrase. So if they are approached from someone they don't know, hopefully that person should have that code or that phrase to tell them, to let them know, I maybe not know this person, but it's legitimate.
Yeah, and also obviously not to be afraid to tell mom and dad what they encountered, because that's something I know that kids kind of keep to themselves sometimes.
That's exactly the parent or whoever the guardian is watching them, big brother, big sister. If they see something strange, be a good witness. Something just didn't look right. Don't wait till later that night over dinner. Go talk to the parents then, because if it is someone in the neighborhood, the adult needs to make a decision whether they need to call the police or not to get them into the neighborhood to check that person out. And it might be legitimate, but we'd rather be safe than sorry and, be prepared.
Absolutely. Kids are, going to their friends' homes, just like you were saying. They usually have buddies that they hang with throughout the summer. Sometimes they're exposed to different environments that they're not used to. Maybe they're out playing a video game at a friend's house. And they also could run across, a knife or a gun that somebody has. Maybe it's concealed, maybe it's, in a certain compartment of some sort, but they could get curious or that kind of thing. What are some basic rules, obviously, that parents can pass along to their kids? And what do you tell children when it comes to gun safety?
Well, something that when we go into schools, I always ask this question, whether it's your father or your grandparents or uncles, who has, guns in the house, and most do, and do you know if they have hiding places for the guns?
Oh,
and then,
okay.
of course, they should always have a lock on it and be secured, but some people choose to hide their guns, and majority of the time they do have a hiding place. Then I always ask the children, you're not going to get in trouble, but do you know where those hiding places are? And 9 times out of 10, every kid knows where the hiding place is that either their father or grandfather or uncle, whoever, has hidden their gun. So that's not that effective. So we encourage the gun locks regardless. But if they do find a gun, if they're in a playground, if they're playing in their backyard or whatever, get away from it. Encourage their other friends to get away from it. Someone, go get an adult, whether it's the big brother, big sister, or the parents, and keep everybody away with it. Now, some kids, particularly middle age or middle schools, they may have had a little bit of experience with a gun or do some hunting. Still, that's not the time to find out what their skill level is with a gun, knife, syringe, anything for that matter.
Oh, sure.
Leave it alone. Encourage your friends to get away from it and go find an adult and let them come and take the appropriate action and call whoever it needs to be called to come dispose of it.
Yeah, and kind of along the same lines, don't be afraid to go and tell that caregiver or that parent, report what you saw and get some help so that they can take care of it and call one of you out to take care of it. All right, let's talk specifically about 911 too, with children being at home. When should they pick up the phone, and at what age should they start learning about calling the emergency line?
Well, whenever they can use the phone, that's when the parents need to have a very candid conversation with them.
Okay.
One thing about 911 here in Davidson County, not a lot of people know about, we have called a smart 911 system that people can, if you're familiar with it, that they can pre-register with our emergency communications center, because if you are in a position to have to ever call 911, again, it's going to be a stressful situation.
That's right.
And they're going to ask a series of questions. Sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense why they're asking them, but they have a protocol. With the smart 911, you can go ahead and be pre-registered with a lot of that information that they're going to ask already loaded to that phone number, and they already have that information, which will kind of do away with some of the questions it seems to, that they have to ask to get away with it. But as far as children, they need to know their parent's name, their address, important information on, how if, someone's at home, my mom might be diabetic or have some type of medical disease, she's fallen down, be able to describe to the call taker, if they are having to make that phone call, unfortunately, what there's a pre-existing medical condition, so the the emergency personnel responding will have some kind of preparation to know what they're walking into.
Sure, good information. Also, if you can give parents advice, because rules are a little bit more lax in the summer, as we all know, when the kids are not in that structured environment. What would you tell parents is in terms of just making sure that their kids stay safe under their supervision?
Well, they need to have a candid discussion with them, just like you will. Hopefully, everybody's talked about if there's a middle of the night, there's a fire, how do we get out of the house in the middle of the night? What do we do if there's a bad storm? Trees have fallen down. Well, what happens if there's a type of a police emergency? Discuss about if there's the stranger danger, someone knocking at the door, what to do. The worst thing they can do is not have this conversation, have the kids home alone, and have this emergency or this situation come up, and the kids are not prepared, never had a discussion, and they're having to figure out for themselves what to do without ever having a conversation with a parent.
All right, Sergeant Steve Linn, great information. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.